Hello, Smite fans. Welcome to episode 6 of the Gank Right Lane podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the kickoff tournament for the SPL, as well as the game's being a little bit too long right now. How you doing today, John?
Just waking up, man, but we're doing great. Still a little sleepy, got sleepy eyes. I've been
8
yawning a
p.m.,
bit.
by the way. 8 p.m.
Don't sell me out like that. I took a nap, guys. Come on. Sorry, it was a long day. Anyway, how are you doing, man?
Doing all right.
Good. Hope you're wide awake.
Yep.
So we got some first look. Excited. Some exciting games this weekend. First look at the Smite teams during the kickoff tournament. I'm pretty sure I watched just about every single set. I can't think if there's one I'm missing. Did you get through them all?
I did not
Andy?
get through Hounds versus Dragons. I skipped that one, but I got through the rest of them.
Okay. Yeah, you got the Hounds Dragons was a good one.
Yeah,
Not
I
necessary.
just didn't have enough time though.
Right.
You know.
That's understandable. Right off the bat, first thoughts.
Warriors, baby.
They were crazy. I mean, I want to look back and see what. Yeah, you had them in the finals.
I had them in the finals.
I had them in the semifinals, and then Reed didn't even have them making it out of the first round.
Yep. Friend of the show.
Which is crazy. We talk about Reed every week.
Yeah.
Someone will eventually catch on. Maybe Reed. Reed, if you're listening, message me. Your favorite color. That way I know you're actually listening. If not, I'm gonna be pissed. If I don't get a favorite color message within 17 minutes after this first video is uploaded, this one's uploaded, I'm not happy. Anyway, yeah. So Ravens end up taking it. They only dropped one game all weekend, which was to the Kings, the defending world champions.
Yep. It's crazy. They looked so good the whole time too.
Yeah, they looked like they were in control every game. It's pretty unstoppable, honestly.
I just watched Warriors versus Dragons like an hour before we started this. In game 3, there was a fight where the Dragons had fire, and it was 5v5, and the Warriors just won anyways.
Yeah, I think it was game 3. They were down. It was 4v5, and then they just go in, like full on. It's not like they were retreating and had a counter engage.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah, there were multiple fights they shouldn't have taken in game 3 based on like numbers, and they were just like, nah, we just push the buttons real good and we'll be fine.
They took it. Was like Sot and Jake ran up the middle, and were hitting 2 people, and then around the sides it was Panatom and Pagon just soloed 2 people and then crashed in on the other 2.
Hey God.
Crashed in on the other 3. Yeah, it is Peg Goat, Peg God. I don't know, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just so many crazy moments in that one.
Yep.
I mean, you want to start off talking about finals match? Because we can...
I think we just want to work our way backwards. I mean, we kind of already have.
Right, we're here.
We're basically already talking about it. Might as well.
So, I can't see what the page doesn't have the updated, like, all the stats for each game, the breakdown.
Right.
But I know that there was a lot of kills. I think there was 2 kills, not 2 kills per minute. Maybe it was
close to 2 kills per minute.
It was about 2 kills per minute in game 3 there. And that's crazy, for one. That's a lot of kills. That's, nonstop. That's why those games were so fun to watch.
Right.
There's just killing. And it's not like, if you want a lot of killing, you could watch us play. Watch us play a casual game.
Right.
But it's not necessarily that we're getting a lot of kills because we're performing very well. It's like, taking advantage of people who aren't as good
Right.
And then messing up, getting kills there. But these games are like good
Players.
Smite gameplay, good mechanics.
They do not
Good.
make a
I
lot of
mean,
mistakes.
no, and that's why they're getting all these kills, and it's ridiculous. It's crazy to watch. It's so much fun. Where was I going with that? Yeah, there were points where the Oni Warriors were dying. I mean, they had to die to get 2 kills a minute in the game. But there was never a point where they didn't look like they knew exactly what they were doing and were in full control.
Right.
If the whole season was one weekend, I don't see them dropping a single set.
Right.
But
They
the
will
fact of the
definitely
matter is
drop
they work.
sets throughout the year, but I mean, they look insane.
Yeah, and I could go into depth on that. I don't think they're gonna. I think this is one of their peaks for the season. It reminded me
I
a
mean,
lot
I
of how.
don't. They barely even looked like they had any weaknesses. Like
Yeah.
they obviously they pushed the buttons the best, but also
Hmm.
like they made good tactical calls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's
Um.
what people thought was going to be their weakness, and it just wasn't. Right, and it's one of those things where it's like they made calls that like for other teams wouldn't be good tactical calls, but they know how good they are on the buttons. Like they're confident,
Right.
so they can make those
Yeah.
calls, and they're still good calls.
Yeah. They know what they need to do for sure. That's what something I noticed I thought was cool. They always had 4 characters that could 1v5 at some point in the match.
Right,
And they never put anyone on some off character. The one game they dropped is when they didn't do that and they played an
right,
off row. And but that's literally it. I watched the Dragons game 2 maybe come through, or game 3 or game 2, I can't remember in the finals. The Dragons killed, took 2 of the Oni Warriors right off the map. Panatom came through from behind and got like a quadra kill.
right,
And it's you have to kill all of them, or else they have the potential to wipe your team.
right.
And
There was
how do you
a
play against it?
there was a time where SOT was 2v1 in the solo lane, and he lived and got a kill and almost killed them both.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's after this weekend. That is probably like the player who looked worse on their team is
I
SOT.
don't. I'm a SOT hater, and you know that.
Right.
But
I'm not
I don't
saying it
think
looked
he's getting
bad.
enough.
I
I don't
just
think he's getting enough credit for how good that guy played.
I here's the thing. I agree, but that's because everybody on their team played super good. He was just the one who made the most mistakes.
Yeah, they're definite shining stars. Pagon and Panatom.
For sure.
Uh, there was a point in game 2 that was where Pagon ran the Hebo.
Right.
He was 0-5 and 2 levels up on everyone on the Dragons.
Right.
Like, how do you do that in a professional game?
I don't know.
It's
The Dragons didn't really look like they wanted to farm too much in that set. They were behind in like all 3 matches, even when they were up in kills.
Yeah. I mean, I think after like the first, especially after for game 3, they were like panicking to find something that would work,
Right.
and that's never gonna work. I think it's um almost poetic that especially PBM had to play against that Warriors team, because the Oni Warriors look like the Jade Dragons in the past 2 years, where you just run it down early game and don't let them breathe, and then you win your games off that, And the
Right.
Warriors just gave it the old Jade Dragons run it down.
Well, the thing is like against the Kings, there was a match where the Kings had a late game team comp, and the Warriors had an early game team comp, and the Warriors went down early and then still won late. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
that good at pushing the buttons that against
Yeah.
last year's world champions, they came back with a team comp that wasn't supposed to come back. It was the
Oh
comp
yeah.
that was supposed to play from ahead. It didn't matter.
You know, Panathon was on ping this whole time too. The whole tournament,
True.
he wasn't in. That guy was my. Was he the best player in the probably the best
Him
player
or
in the
Pagon?
tournament. Yeah. Um, not
If you
even.
want to choose not a warrior, you could give it to Lasberg. He had a lot of kills in all the games. But it's one of
Lasver
those
was
three for sure.
trying to. He did his best trying to get the dragons in it. Also, fun fact: this is as the Oni Warriors brand their first time winning a tournament, and it's against
The
the
Warriors,
3
basically.
Oni Warriors. Yeah, that's
No,
the
it
first time their
was
brand gets it.
right. The Dragons facing their old branding in the Warriors, and also PBM versus his apprentice in Pagon.
Yeah, that's a lot of story happening there, and they didn't make it very dramatic at all. It was just
They just kick their ass.
just a stomp. Yep. Which I don't know. I enjoyed watching it. I just wanted more games. Like I
Right.
could have watched if the Warriors look like this all year, I'm never gonna miss a game. You know,
Right.
because that is fun to watch. But
I don't know if they'll look like this all year, but I think they'll definitely look like this all patch. You know what I mean? I think this patch
yeah.
really suits them.
Well, and that's I heard a talking point. Is it just they adjusted to the meta fast enough? But they're like once other teams settle into the meta, they'll start to fall behind, which I think is true. But then
I don't think they'll fall
the
behind. I
meta,
just think they won't be as ahead.
there's 2 more seasons coming up.
Right.
There's going to be 3 new seasons within this next year of SPL, and so it's not when's it going to settle? If it's always
Right.
changing, and if they're the people who can adapt to it the fastest and make their own metas right away, then they're going to stay on top.
Right.
But it's if they can do that.
Yeah, they're definitely the team that pushes the buttons the best.
Oh, yeah.
And that's gonna be good in any meta. I don't see them being outside of the top 4 this whole year unless something drastic happens. Like the
Yeah,
meta
I
would have
think.
to drastically not suit their playstyle for them to not be top 4. I think.
Yeah. So what I put them at, I ranked them at number 5,
Yeah,
right?
I had them at 3.
I think
You
I
had
think
them at
that's
5.
their low. I don't see them going past 5. I can see a
I don't
world.
even see them making it down to 5. I think 4 is their lowest.
I mean, I can see a world where Leviathans, Dragons, Kings, Ferrymen are all. I mean, just I'm not even saying way above them, just slightly better.
Right.
Well, especially what's the
I look. It was one set. After this past weekend, I don't know if I could ever see the Ferrymen being above the Warriors, man.
Okay, but yeah, it was one set, and that's
It
why
was
it's so
one
hard to
set.
judge teams like Leviathans, Ferrymen, and King. I think the Leviathans are definitely better than they looked this weekend.
Oh, for sure.
And
No Panatom really hurt them.
Shinto.
Yes.
You're good. I knew what you meant. Okay, what was this? Um, who else? The Gladiators. They honestly didn't look bad
No.
playing against the Kings. I think this is going to be a super competitive year of
Right.
Smite.
I think
Um,
after watching how the Gladiators did against the Kings, there is a world where if you power rank, you don't put them 8th and you don't look crazy.
who?
With the way the Gladiators looked against the Kings, if you power rank the Gladiators and you put them like above 8th, I don't think you look crazy anymore.
Man, who are you putting?
See, here's the thing. I'm not. But I'm
I
saying
was
you
gonna
could.
say, who would you
No,
even
they're
put?
still my 8th, but I think you could have the argument now.
Right.
But I'm not going to do it until they actually win a set. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
They almost had him, though. They almost got a game off the Kings.
Yeah, well, they should have if Inbound would have dropped his bomb on the Titan.
Right.
But he forgot, and so they lost. Yeah, also this... I'm not sure. So this weekend, the Oni Warriors got to decide who is in the opposite division for them. They're doing 2 divisions this year. Basically, that just means you play the teams within your division twice and the teams outside your division once. I think that adds up to 10 games.
Yes.
Yep, 10 games total per phase. I don't know if this is going to stay throughout all the season. I would imagine it would. But you got the...
Do you think it's going to be the same division, or do you think they'll redo the divisions each?
That's what I'm wondering.
I hope
know.
so. I don't want to like watch the Kings just shit on their division over and over.
Yeah, well, I really don't think you're giving enough credit to Ferryman. Here's my...
I'm probably not, but even still, they're going to shit on the Ravens and probably the Hounds. And I still think they beat the Ferrymen pretty easy. So.
Oh wait, is it Ravens and Hounds, or I thought it was Ravens and Glads?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I thought you told me the Glads were in the other division.
See, I was sitting here trying to think of this. I couldn't remember. Where would I even find that at? Oh, I got you. Smite Pro.
I'll try to find it.
Picture PBM that says Barbie on it.
I just want to say though, I still don't see why the fuck the Dragons would ever choose to put the Ferrymen in the other division over the Leviathans.
Because okay, so they picked based on you get to scrim the opposite division more often, and so all of them were picking based on how they against who they wanted to scrim against.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And so they think that the Ferrymen provide really good practice. Yeah.
I guess from that perspective it makes sense, but
yeah, so that's...
Yeah, of course they wouldn't have the divisions anywhere convenient to find.
Right, well, I'm looking all over there.
They wouldn't put it on the freaking website anywhere.
Yeah, so it's either the Ferrymen, Kings, Ravens, and the Glads or Hounds, we're not sure. And... Well, okay, I could tell you. It went Warriors to Ferrymen, or Warriors to Kings, Kings to Dragons, Dragons, Ferrymen, Ferrymen, Leviathans, Leviathans, Hounds. So yeah, Leviathans went Hounds here, and then Hounds went Gladiators, and then Gladiators went Ravens. Okay, so yeah, it's Ferrymen, Kings, Ravens, Hounds, and then Warriors, Dragons, Leviathans, Gladiators. So yeah, that's a very...
I think the divisions are 2, 3, 4, and 8 versus 1, 5, 6, 7. In my opinion. Maybe you can say Warriors are 1 instead of the Kings, but
I can also
it's
see
around
Ferrymen
that
being
argument.
better than Leviathans. Well, okay, here's my problem with the Ferrymen, from what I saw. Before the season started, I didn't have Sino ranked very highly. He just feels very streaky, doesn't look the best all the time. He only has a few picks.
Right.
And right now, this is a very jungle-dominant meta. And if your jungle is not able to perform, then your team isn't going to do well. And he looked bad in the 2 games. I mean, 2 games.
Right.
What much can you tell? But he looked bad.
Yeah.
And if he's going to continue to play poorly, then his entire team, you're not going to be able to carry without. You're not gonna be able to win games without a jungler.
Right. The Ferrymen are very much a team that on their day can beat anybody, and when they're not on their day, they can lose to anybody.
Well, I was listening to a PBM talk, and he was saying that Paul and Aurora, like none of those guys on that team. I was gonna be like Paul, Aurora, Baskin, Cyclone Spin. I don't know about Sino. I'm sure him. But they just don't like to try on games that don't matter. They just mess around. They played ESET jungle.
Yeah.
Like that also is a reason I don't think he would.
Right. When I'm talking about the Ferrymen not being good, I'm talking about in terms of the regular season. Everybody knows how good they're going to be in the playoffs. I'm
Right.
never going to say, oh yeah, they look terrible and are going to get eliminated in the first round because they're the fucking team that does real good in the playoffs. That's their whole thing.
Yeah.
When the games matter, they're going to show up. When I'm talking about them not being good, I'm talking about they look like shit when the games don't matter right now. I'm definitely not putting them above the Leviathans in terms of the regular season.
No, I'm sure the Leviathans will look
They look good
really
against
well.
the Dragons without their mid.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and Dragons got second. I think they did have a pretty, I don't know about easy, but like who?
Right. They faced Leviathans without their mid, and then they faced a team who had to play into the league.
Didn't face the Kings. Yeah, face a team who had to play in. So, pure speculation. And we can get with that with our.
And then lost when they faced another team that was supposed to be good.
Yeah. We can get into that with the rankings.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, do you want to go ahead and give me your?
Is there anything else we need to talk about?
I mean, we can still hop back and forth.
I don't think we've actually mentioned it yet. The Hounds did upset the Ferrymen in the first round.
Yeah.
Oath
Hounds,
became
honestly,
Cyclone Spin's father.
That was a good one. That's such a good play.
It was, dude. Oath's actually very good.
Yeah,
I don't think people were
been...
giving Oath enough credit coming into the league. Honestly, Benny Q is good in team fights, in my opinion. His main weakness is that he doesn't ward. But he was pretty solid in the team fights.
I would say the opposite. I think his team fights are what, if he could work on his team fight positioning better, he'd be so good because he would be, at the beginning of every team fight, he'd get all of his damage off. But then all of a sudden, he's in the middle of 5 people, like within seconds of the team fight starting.
Right.
Sure, he chunks 3 or 4 people's health bars, but then he can't throw another ability the rest of the fight. I think if he would stand back a little more, there was one fight he was on Tiamat, and it was looking great, and then he got down to 1 health, and he was outside of the fight. He jumped in and then insta died when he landed.
Yeah.
What's even the thought process there?
That sounds like something I do.
Oh yeah. No, I think if he works on positioning, that team's gonna be dangerous. Oath was always considered for the league.
Right.
Every time he had like a big tournament game or something, he would choke it.
Right.
So it was like, if he can't perform at this level, that people had their skeptical about him,
Right. Vaporish Coast as well. He almost looked like a top 1 carry.
He soloed every carry he played against.
Yeah, like he's so good.
Yeah.
It's a little too early for me to say he is the best carry in the league, but he is top half.
I don't know. Yeah, I really in a 1v1 situation, who are you picking?
Right. Well, the game isn't just 1v1s. Is part of it.
Exactly.
But he also looked really good in team fights.
I mean, he was soloing people on. I think he soloed someone on Heim. I think he played Jing Wei, and he was like at their tower line the whole time. That's not a pressure god.
Right.
He's just
cracked.
That guy's good. If there's one Vaporish Coast fan left in this world, I promise you it will be me. This man would have to commit some heinous crimes.
Right.
for me to for me to not like him.
Imagine how good the Warriors would be at pushing buttons if they had him instead of Netroid, dude.
I mean, Netrio.
Netroid's also
No,
good at pushing the buttons, but I
yeah,
think Coast is a
no
little better.
discredit to Netrio, because
Yeah.
that man is also. He's obviously just what the Warriors needed. I think they're.
Right. He kind of seemed silent during the tournament, but that also means he wasn't fucking up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he was playing a crit hunter, and so he was just chunking everyone's health.
Yeah.
Crit also stupid right now.
Yeah.
That is what it is. It goes through cycles. It always.
Yep. Always
It's
has,
really
always
good.
will. We haven't even talked about Gabe yet.
That
Gabe.
guy, he was Shinto's replacement for
Yeah.
the Leviathans.
In hockey, they have the emergency backup goalie. In Smite, they have the emergency backup Gabe, the E-bug.
He looked good.
He looked
game
really
one.
good in the first game. And then we don't need to go into the rest of it. Just know that that's the one the Leviathans won, and then we're going to move on.
I think, though, that was his first competitive game, I believe.
Right.
So, which is crazy that he just straight to the SPL.
Yeah.
Wins his first game. I think top kills maybe in the game, top damage. He stole objectives.
If he had played like that throughout the whole set, the Leviathans would have won the set for sure.
Oh yeah, and then the Dragons figured out, we just need to pressure this guy. They took this Thoth. He played Thoth first game. They took that away the rest too, and he just couldn't perform anything else. But
I think
he will be back.
Close to SPL level. You know what I mean? I don't think he's quite there.
Yeah, I think he's going to be in SOC SCC this year, 100%. Right. I think you would be crazy not to.
Unless he doesn't want to be.
Right. It's totally on him.
Right, maybe he was just like, I'm. This is a super cool opportunity. I don't have to do any commitment to play in an SPL game. You know what I mean? So maybe he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just gonna keep chilling and playing ranked. And if that's what he wants to do, good on him. I'm not gonna blame him. And if he wants to go into the SCC and kick some ass in the SCC, cool. I hope that's what he chooses to do. That'd be awesome. But
yeah, I think the play-ins for SCC are right now. So, and that was one of their things.
Have they officially released the rosters yet? Have they released the SCC play-in rosters yet?
The play-in rosters, yeah. That's the ones I sent you.
Right, but I didn't know if those were officially out because you're in the Discord, so I didn't know if those were officially released.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, maybe we'll just keep that back for now.
Yeah, just in case they aren't. We don't want to give anything away if we're not supposed to have this information.
Yeah.
We don't want to get in trouble.
I will say though, Panicat will be in the. There's no shot. I mean, he's on a playing team. Panicat's on a playing team, playing mid. No shot they don't make it. So we'll see them. Let's play some Smite. It's cool. I normally don't watch the SEC games, but.
Right, I might watch some Panicat ones.
Yep. See.
They look like one of the best teams as well.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about any of the other teams, but just in case. I'm not even sure we should be talking about Panicat. I might wait a little while to release this one, just in case.
Just in case. Okay.
Because I don't want to get you kicked out of the server. No,
I think in I mean, who watches these videos anyway? By the time someone important watched them.
That's true. That's like 4 years in the future.
Halfway through the season. Yeah. So, yeah, by the time this is released, it will be public knowledge. So don't hold anything.
Probably.
Just say. So yeah, back to the tournament.
Yep.
But looking at some of these. Okay, so here's my thing with the Oni Warriors. They look great. They were very run it down. They had a hold of what their meta was, and their meta was above everyone else's. It's one-shot people. Don't give people time to survive, because if healing is like this, it's prominent. People aren't necessarily healing for a lot, but playing these healing gods, having healing capabilities, You're not going to get any value out of healing if you're just one shot.
Right.
And that's what they were doing to people. They were just blowing people up. And so I think that this seemed like a very chaotic, nuclear kind of team. Like, you're not sure what's going to happen next.
Right.
And
they thrived in that chaos.
Yes. The Kings, on the other hand, feel much more, telegraphed. They're more precise. They know what they're doing. And so I think during a regular season where these games are going to be, people are going to get a hold of things. People are going to be playing each other, finding their metas. I think the teams like the Kings, the Dragons, the Leviathans are going to start to, rise up and be able to punish the Warriors for what they're doing, because there were a lot of things they could have been punished on. Overcommitments and
right,
not being where they needed to be. But I just don't think they were ready to deal with that in this tournament. No, I mean, no one expected
them to be this good. Yeah.
No. And so I think they'll kind of plateau. I mean, I can see them being competitive in future tournaments.
Right.
But I just don't think it'll be this easy for them ever again for another game.
Right. I mean, here's the thing: is the other teams can like counter them and like match them, and they can still like go undefeated in phase one. You know what I mean? Like they barely even dropped a game. You know what I mean? They could drop some games and still look awesome in phase one. It's definitely not going to be as easy from here on out for them, but I still think they could very easily be the top team in the league right now.
I don't know I really think that they could. I mean, they're in a division with the Dragons, the Leviathans, and the Gladiators. I don't see the Gladiators taking a set off them all phase one. Do the Leviathans, are they able to deal with that? Are the Dragons able to deal with that? Like,
I honestly, with how the Dragons looked in that set, I don't think so. I think the Leviathans might be able to, because I think they match up a bit better against them. Because that's the main thing, right? In their set against the Kings, they kind of seem to like outmatch them in every lane. In their set against the Dragons, they kind of seem to outmatch them in every lane. Against the Leviathans, SOT is not going to outmatch Fine Okay, and Pagon might be able to outmatch Shinto, but he might not be able to. You know what I mean? I honestly, after this tournament, I think I have Pagon and Shinto as the 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. I don't think you can put anyone below Pagon right now, because he's playing the Smite where
above.
He soloed his mid laner every single game.
Right.
At some point, every single game.
You're the only person we can argue, because before, to me, it was Big Man Tings and Shinto that were above him. He kicked Big Man Tings' ass. He still has to prove it against Shinto for me, but yeah.
I mean, these guys aren't. You can say Paul. I might say Paul. Paul can.
If it's the playoffs, then sure.
Yeah, right. No, Paul is going to be able to 1v1 him. And I just don't see, Big Man Tings and Shinto are team fighters, They're the best in the league at what they do, and they're very good at it, but they're not. I don't think they're adept to playing the, run at you. Like, it catches people off guard. I mean, Venenu was standing at his red buff, and Pagon rounded the corner at like 4 minutes and killed him.
Right.
Like, why would you ever expect that at the SPL level? There was one where a DAWG, it was game 1, Dragons Warriors. Lasbro was over by their red buff. Pagon walked level 5 or 6 Thoth. A very squishy character. He's got that dash. Into a DAWG though, he dashes away. She's gonna dash on top of him.
Right.
Like, why is he ever at the red buff fighting him? And then he takes it and wins it.
Right.
It's just crazy. I mean, I don't know. I would be shaking in my boots having to play against those guys.
For sure. And basically, to talk about the only team we haven't talked about yet, that makes the Ravens not looking that bad against them in game 1 even more surprising. In game 2, they definitely got shit on. But in game one, they like looked pretty good. You know what I mean? Like they actually look good,
Yeah.
and
They did.
they
They
stopped
were
them
winning
from winning
at
the
a point.
game they stopped the Warriors from winning the game for like fucking half an hour. It felt like the
Yeah,
Warriors could
I mean,
not make that final push against the Ravens.
Ravens were definitely winning early.
Right.
And I think, what did Scream play? Oh no, he played Susano second game. The Scream played. What's that guy's? Erlang Shen. Who's awful, awful character. I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know
know why
why
you'd
he
ever
got
pick
played.
Erling.
He got played 2 or 3 times this weekend. Why? I don't know. But yeah, he's. I think if he's on someone who can do something, because Scream did play really well, it just wasn't enough.
Not in game 2.
Do you remember he got soloed at his Panatom was waiting outside of the
He
doors,
got
and as soon as he opened them,
soloed in between
just hit him.
Phoenixes.
He was level 4. I think Scream was level 14, and Panatom was level 19, 18.
Max,
I mean, literally got no
basically.
XP
Yeah.
because of that change. So
Yeah, I think that's probably about everything we need to talk about in the tournament. Unless you got something else.
yeah, I mean, I think that this year is going to be really competitive, and
For sure.
it's going to be a lot of good Smite games. It's fun whenever the rosters get like switched up like this. I mean, it's like you're watching something totally new.
Right.
I knew there were teams last year who, I mean, like the Kings, just have slow play styles, and it's boring to watch. And now I get to like find out who's the teams that are gonna have fun. Like who are the teams I'm gonna have to be watching this year
The Warriors.
for sure.
Honestly, the Hounds were very
Hounds,
fun to
yep.
watch as well. I kind of wish
Warriors,
I had
Hounds.
time to watch Hounds vs Dragons.
Yeah, I think it was like Dragons won game 1, Hounds
Right.
game 2.
I might have caught the last game of that set. I don't remember though. Like I feel like I remember watching the last game of Hounds Dragons. But maybe I'm just imagining it because I don't remember anything that happened.
I think I took a nap during that set. Being honest. I mean, it was just all the same. Each game was the same. The Hounds would get up. They'd come to a team fight, and then the Dragons would like. It almost seemed like the Hounds weren't playing because the Dragons would walk at them and literally roll them over while the
Right.
Hounds were ahead. I mean, it looked like they had no fight back whatsoever in every single firefight. And then they'd defend the base, they'd go back to fire, do the same thing over again until finally they killed enough people to just walk at the Titan.
Right.
And I mean, these games were going long. It's kind of boring. So we'll get into that. But real quick, you wanna break down your power rankings coming in after this
I do.
for me? 'Cause
I
I'm ready. I got that notepad prepared.
Right. I have a notepad for it somewhere as well. I forgot I did that. It is here. I found it. All right. So this is for like phase 1, right? So we're
Phase
talking
1, yep.
about like how we think we're gonna do in phase 1.
And we're ranking them based on where we think they're going to finish. So saying that,
Yeah.
I have the Warriors at number 1.
Okay.
I have them going 9-1. I'm not going to say who their loss is to yet. I'll get there later. But
Okay.
I have them over the Kings, who I have at 2, who are also 9-1. But I have the Warriors beating the Kings in their set. So the Kings win losses to the Warriors, and the Warriors get first off the head-to-head, which puts the Kings at second.
Okay. Makes sense. Drop us to 3. Give me the win-loss for it, and I'm gonna try to guess who it is.
I have them going 7-3.
I mean, surely Dragons, right?
It is not the Dragons.
Leviathans.
It is the Leviathans. I have them losing to the Kings, splitting with the Dragons, and splitting with the Warriors. I think the Leviathans are the team that takes a game off or a set off the Warriors.
And you think the Warriors only lose 1?
I think the Warriors only lose 1. I think it's going to be the Leviathans.
Okay.
I can't see the Dragons beating the Warriors in this like current meta and patch with how the tournament went. They just never even really look close. They might be able to take a game. I don't think there's any way they're taking a set though.
Take a set. Yeah.
And that puts Dragons at 4 for me, at 6-4.
Okay.
They do the same thing as the Leviathans, but without the split against the Warriors.
So they split the Leviathans.
They split the Leviathans, they lose to the Kings, and they lose both games against the Warriors and beat everybody else.
Okay. I see. I'm not gonna have the stat breakdown for you. Or the win-loss. I'm just gonna give mine.
That's fair. I prepared this before. Although I'm not really sure who is getting the wins and losses for these bottom 4, but the top 4 I kind of have figured out who I think is gonna lose to who up there. Yeah, it's one of those things where, I wasn't 100% sure that the Dragons were gonna end up 4 just because I think they're the 3rd best team in their division, and they have to face all their division a lot, which is way stronger than the other one in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, you already have 3 teams from one division in the top 4.
Right. And the next one is not in that division, obviously, because the last team in that division is the Gladiators.
Yeah. Can I write the Gladiators in 8th or?
Yeah, Gladiators are in 8th. I don't have them winning a game. Well, they might win a game. I don't have them winning a set, I should say. I think they'll win some games. They proved they can do that against the Kings. And honestly, they might win a set. I just don't have them doing it. And then I have the Hounds at 5, believe it or not. I think they looked very good. I have them beating the Gladiators. I have them beating the Ravens both times, and I have them splitting with the Ferrymen. Which then puts the Ferrymen at 6, at 3-7, where they split with the Hounds, they split with the Ravens, and they get a win off the Gladiators.
So what was the breakdown? Was it 5-5 for Hounds?
The Hounds were 4-6. Okay. They sweep the Ravens, they beat the Gladiators once, and they beat the Ferrymen once. And then I have the Ravens at 2-8. They beat the Gladiators and split with the Ferrymen. And then I have the Gladiators at 0-10, where they split with nobody because they're losing all the games. I could honestly see the Ferrymen and Ravens both going 2-8. I originally had the Ferrymen and Ravens splitting and both losing both games to the Hounds and both going 2-8. And I was like, that's not going to happen. Hounds are going to win all of those sets and go 5-5. So I had the Ferrymen take a game off the Hounds. Because I definitely think watching the tournament that they could definitely take a set off of them. They lost both games, but they could have won both games.
Right. Were winnable. They just tossed it there. And I mean, I really think they should have if both didn't pop off that last game.
Right.
I mean, he saved the whole.
Right.
He saved the game right there. And I think, if they end up losing that, who's to say Ferrymen don't roll them game 3?
Right.
And then the entire outlook looks different.
Right. I could see the Gladiators getting wins on, honestly, like any of the other bottom 4 teams. I could see them winning.
That's the butterfly effect of one play, He made one good play and then made it to the semifinals. And that is exactly why everyone listening, you guys aren't in Masters, is because you make a lot of bad plays. And if you would make one good play, then you'd win that game. And then you'd start winning all your other games. And you'd be in Masters by now. But you're not because you suck. Sorry.
Same. The thing is, in the SPL, one good play has even more of an impact because the other team, like the players don't make bad plays. You know what I mean? Like they
Right.
obviously do sometimes, but not to the same level that like the scrubs that you just called shitters
Yeah,
do.
exactly. Yeah, I mean your good teammates can make plays off of your good plays as well.
Right. All right. Who
So,
you got? What's your power rankings?
okay, my power rankings. So this is really on the fly, no thought into this,
Right.
whatsoever. But I do have.
You didn't dream it up while you were napping.
I should have, man. I think I was getting shot in my dream. I don't know. I've been having a lot of weird dreams like that recently. So let's just hope that doesn't happen.
I had
Anyway.
a dream where we were talking about the fantasy with everybody in the party, and you were like, "Yeah, we, me and Alex were bottom two." I was like, "Holy
I,
shit!"
I think bottom. I don't know about bottom two, but I think we're definitely after that tournament
Right.
bottom half.
I don't know.
Okay.
Lasper popped off. I think Lasper was going to save me.
Oh yeah.
I also had Awesome Jake, who did really well.
I'm putting Kings number one.
That's fair. I think it's
Start.
Kings or Warriors right now.
Yep. I think they're gonna come it back. Come it back. They're gonna come back. Kim Kardashian. Warriors number two. I mean, they look good. I was saying they're not gonna do as good, but
Right. As
I'm just
good
trying to be
was the best team we've ever seen,
exactly.
basically.
Yeah, I'm being very critical on them, and yeah, nothing against them. I'm also an SOT fan now. I mean, I'm not a fan, but I'm not a hater anymore.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you that.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of
Um,
Tom Hader anymore.
yeah, you shouldn't be. I don't know why you
There
ever
was just
were.
something about his face and his name I didn't like. But then I watched him and I was like, all right, like he didn't choose his name. I mean, he did. It's a username, but he didn't make his face. You can't control that.
Is it because she's from South America?
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm like 99% sure.
I mean, I guess he was on the Leviathan team that came from South America, so that would make
Yeah, the
sense.
entire Latin American team.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these two out. Give me Dragons number three.
I respect it.
I think they did look good.
Right.
Maybe they didn't play. Also, my thing is they really didn't have crazy competition.
Right.
Um,
There's no doubt in my mind that Leviathans win that set if Shinto's playing.
yeah, I agree. And then we could be ranking them down with the Berryman or something. So yeah, but I think they did look pretty good. PBM looked really good. He was playing very well.
Plasma looked good. The thing about
Asbro,
the Dragons that we have to remember is I know they replaced their two worst players with two of the best players in the leagues at their position, but
mm.
they were the shit Warriors last year. You know what I mean?
There was a point where the Warriors were number one team in the league last year,
Yeah,
and
but for the most part, they weren't that good.
No, I mean for literally every other part they were a bottom half team, and then
Right?
for like a month they
They
decided to play
they
well.
they they can be good. I'm just I don't think Nika's really
It's
that good.
I don't think Dardez is that
I don't
good,
think Dardis is that good either.
dude. I mean a lot of the games the Warriors last year Warriors, but they would lose. It looked like he just didn't do anything.
Right? I
I don't
think
know. He
Vote
just
is
was
pretty good.
Vote played really well. So yeah, I'm throwing Dragons there. I think if Dardez can get gods that are in his god pool, then he'll be fine. But when those are out of the meta, I mean
Right.
he
Or
plays a
just
lot of like
banned. Like, right? That's what teams did to. That's what the Warriors did. They like banned Hera, and then
and Afro.
he just didn't do anything. Yeah, they banned Hera and Afro, and then Dardis didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean he's got more than that, but it's not. It's limited.
Right.
Um. So we have the Dragons out. Give me Ferryman 4.
You have Ferryman over Leviathans.
Yep.
All right. I thought I was the Skip Bayless.
I'm gonna say this. I feel like I'm putting way too many of my chickens in the ferryman's egg basket
Yeah.
or whatever that saying is.
I mean, here's the thing. I did the same thing for the Warriors, and then they were the best
And
team.
it paid
So,
off.
yeah.
And it paid off. So
Now I look like a
yeah,
fucking big brain genius.
that is my call. Just because I think their division is
Right, that's definitely
in
going to help them. They definitely have the weaker
in,
division.
in the weaker division. I think that's why I'm putting Kings first. Because I
Right.
mean, are they? I think the only team they drop a.
Right. I think he died.
Sorry, I sneezed. I
Okay.
just muted myself for
Okay.
that. Didn't want to blow anyone's ears out.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think the only team I can see taking a set off the Kings in that division is the Ferrymen. I don't think the Ravens or the Hounds will.
Yeah. I think the Ravens are going to be really good against the teams below them. The problem for them is that there aren't very many of those.
Yes.
Because, I mean, their players are best at, well, like, they're not good at playing well worse. You know what I mean? Scream
Yes.
is at his best when he's on the better team. And we saw that last year. He didn't look very good until he joined the Dragons, and then he looked awesome.
I thought you said Kareem for a second.
No.
I said, where are we going with this? Yeah. No, I mean that's like anyone, I'm
Right.
sure if you put me on the Kings and then put me on the Glads next game, I'm gonna look a lot better on the Kings.
The difference with that is that the Kings arguably aren't the best team when they win a lot of the time. You know what I mean? Like I think they can like be outskilled and win. They couldn't do it against the Warriors, but like I think I don't think they're the most talented team, but they play really well while being less talented.
Yeah.
I mean they're pretty up there. They're definitely not like the least talented team in the league or anything. They're still like top half in terms of talent. But
yeah, they're
when they
very
face the
talented.
teams
They're
that are
just
more
not.
talented than them, they can still win.
Yes.
I
Yeah, and a lot
don't
of
think
that
the
is, like,
Ravens can do that to any extent.
the team play.
Right.
Yeah,
I give the Gladiators a better chance to upset the teams ahead of them than I give the Ravens.
I mean, it's just so here. I'll get to the Ravens, and yeah, Leviathan's 5. Just division, that kind of stuff. Maybe I think they're gonna have a rough start. That's my call.
Right.
Ravens number 6. Ravens number 6.
So you're still not a Hounds believer?
No, I'm a Hounds fan, Hounds believer, but they did just play in. I don't think any team who played into the league has been above top 2 team in the first phase ever, or a bottom 2 team.
Right.
You know what I meant?
Yeah.
And so I'm just going on the statistics. I think if anyone's to do it, it would be the Hounds.
Right.
But, I think they're gonna get the league. They're gonna have some rough patches. The consistency is gonna be a little lacking maybe.
Right. The problem with your argument is none of those teams had Vaporish Coast. You know what I mean? I highly doubt any play-in team had arguably the best player in their role.
You're right.
There's no way I can put them bottom 2 after watching what they did in the tournament and watching how good Vaporish Coast was.
So,
but that's just me.
I have noticed one thing in team fights. I noticed it in the play-in tournament, and I think I brought it up in one of the past podcasts, and I noticed it in this tournament. When Vaporish Coast is dead, their damage falls off a lot. And I mean, your carry is dead, your damage is falling off, but they lose team fights once he dies. If he doesn't make it to the end of the team fight, if he dies right before the end of the team fight, they're not doing much after, unless they got like a full team wipe. If he's dying at the beginning, they're losing that team fight. I think there was maybe one team fight they won where he died at the beginning. And
They have the Mike Trout problem. They don't have any lineup protection for Vaporish Coast here.
Yeah, I mean, so hopefully, I think Ducky also played really well. I don't want to overshadow him, but that guy popped off. He was selling people.
Oath was really good as well.
Yeah. I mean, their whole team was good. Obviously, they made it semifinals for a reason.
Right. If
It's really just
you
winning
took
one
this
game.
team, and instead of Quig, you gave him PBM, and instead of Benny Q, you gave him Pagon, and that was like the team coming into this year, where would you place them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I
obviously,
feel like they're a pretty good team. Then I think they're probably you're expecting a winning record.
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you have three. You have one of the best carries, one of the best supports, one of the best mids.
Right. And then
And
very much serviceable solo and jungle, I think.
yes,
Definitely SPL level. Even if lower into the SPL, still SPL level.
yeah. So they.
Would that team be better than the Dragons right now? I guess that's not really a fair comparison because the Dragons have Lasbro, but
Yeah, I don't think you could say that, but
okay. I'm just asking. You know what I mean?
no, yeah,
I agree with
yeah,
you,
yeah.
but it's one of those things where it's you put this team in this hypothetical, and you that's kind of how you figure out where they are.
Give the guys on the Hounds a year or two in the league, and that could be,
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. If Benny Q works on his positioning and starts placing wards, he's definitely an SPL level mid. He's already close.
I mean, he is. I think he's SPL level already. He's good.
Yeah, but if he is, he's like 8th. Well, there's not a ton of. Well, yeah, he's not SPL level though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, like if you want to talk about the top 8 mids in the world, they're not all in the SPL because Panda's not in the SPL. Right. He could be, but he's not.
Yeah. Who else? Because missing from last year. Oh, I think Oberonic. He was aight. I think I saw him in one of the play-in games, maybe.
Right.
But yeah.
Is a Rep Crimson a top 8 mid in your opinion?
No.
Okay.
Not after.
I agree. I agree. I was just asking. You've seen more of him than I have. I only saw him in the play-in tournament, so.
All right, I haven't seen him much more than that, but yeah, I think at first he started out. I'd been like, yeah.
Right.
And then at the end of that tournament, he kind of decided to use his feet. But I mean, I don't think that I would do any better in that situation.
Right.
Just
No, I couldn't. I would be terrible. You would be terrible.
From a professional analytical standpoint.
Right.
That's what I hate it when, people make these remarks on Twitter about, like, oh, this pitcher sucks. And then, like, the pitcher will comment and they'll be like, then you come do it. And it's like, well, it's not my job. I'm not the one pitching in the MLB.
Right.
You are.
So why don't you suck relatively.
There's a reason why
I saw a post once where somebody like commented to a UFC guy, "Oh, this guy sucks. He couldn't fight for shit." And then the UFC guy replied and was like, "Why wouldn't you come say that to my face?"
Yeah,
he was like, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right. That's what I said on the internet." And the UFC guy was just like, "I can't argue with that."
Fair enough.
It's fair enough.
I mean, really though. Yeah, but
right. It's one of those things where it's like, obviously you're better than us, but we have eyes, and our eyes are telling us that compared to the people around you, you don't look that good. Right. Well, that's what we're saying. We're not saying we could beat you. We're saying that the other people in the league could beat you.
Just want to clarify, for any time now and in the future, unless I specifically state that I am better than this person.
Right.
That is not. I mean, I'm getting soloed a million times over by anyone in SPL.
Right. Gabe would make me go 0-10 in mid, and he was probably the worst player in this tournament this past weekend, other than game 1. But game 2, Gabe would kick my ass.
Game 1, Gabe.
Yeah. No, game 1, Gabe would I would die 400 times in the game. But game 2, Gabe would still 0-15 me. I'm aware of that.
Yeah. Well, that. What were we talking about with the Ravens?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, I think they're gonna be they're dueling, man. I don't know. I hope Barracuda figures stuff out because he looked bad last year. He looked bad the year before. I mean, there were
Right.
times where he'd have like some signs of life, but not often. I mean, I want like a consistent player. If he can figure out how to provide, then I think that team doesn't look half bad.
Right.
I'm sure Hurrywind hasn't had a lot of support experience, and so I'm sure with time that guy will
Right.
get better. Um,
He's definitely a very smart player, but that doesn't mean
yeah,
he's good.
right. No, he
He's
definitely
definitely
knows
one of the
his.
bottom button pushers in the league. He's the anti-warrior.
But I mean, you need people like that too who have the mind
Right.
and
Preferably, they're also good at pushing the buttons, though.
right. That's what I'm assuming. They said their shot callers on that Warriors team was Aegon and Panaton,
That makes sense.
and that's I don't know. I mean, like I was saying, he's the who was it? Who was like I don't know where I'm going here. Kobe. No, wrong person. Basically, yeah, they're letting Pagon grow. Start him out, give him a good team, train him up, get him to be a really good mid laner, and then throw him out. Say, do your own thing. Lead your own team now. Year
Right.
two, and he's proving he can do that, and that's.
Right.
I mean, right now, your best mid for longevity, consistency, all time, Paul, number one mid. He's been to the finals 4 years in a row. I mean, if we keep this up, come on,
Did
man,
he
you
make
cannot
it
tell me.
season 8?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he was on the
I knew
what
he was
was
on the
this
Titans. I
again?
didn't know the Titans made it. I just knew the Leviathans won.
Yeah, they played. They got 3-0'd, and then they got 3-0'd last year, and then they won the 2 years prior
All right, against the Dragons.
against the Dragons. Yeah, which was like rival at the time, I think.
Who knows?
But yeah, so he won against the Dragons. Showed up like sixth seed, won against the Dragons. Came back fifth or sixth seed, won against the Dragons. Next year, where are they ranked?
Last year
In
they were basically the 7 seed because the 2 seed
yeah,
picked them.
yeah, and then yeah, they made it to finals and got swept, and then made it to finals year before and got swept. So he's just good. But I think you're gonna if Hagon is doing what he is now for the next 2 years, you have to consider him in the conversation. I
Right.
mean, I'm getting way ahead of
Right.
myself, but
No, I've said it before. Pagon has the potential to become the best Smite player of all time.
dude is good.
He is,
He's
he
also
is
kind of
good
jacked
already, and
too.
he's young.
Yeah, I think he had his like 19th birthday this last year.
Right. He's multiple years younger than us, and I just graduated college. And he's
Yeah.
already arguably the best mid in the league.
Oh yeah, in the tournament, he was the best one in the tournament
Right.
for sure.
I think you can argue he's the best mid in the league.
Yeah,
I mean, he looked good all last year as well. I know the
I
team
hope
around him
so,
was
man.
strong, but still.
No, yeah, there were times last year he was number one
There were
for
times
sure.
last year he was the best player on the fucking Dragons.
Right.
Like,
The good old days. But yeah, I love watching him, and I love seeing him do good. I mean, I'm
right.
gonna keep watching this all year long.
And yeah.
Shall
So
we?
you had Ravens 6, Hound 7, Gladiators 8.
Yeah. Yep. I think we, consensus on the Gladiators. Last team to make it in. I don't think they're gonna do much first phase.
Come on, Stewart, I believe in you. You can do it.
I
I
hope so.
don't think he looked that bad in his set against the Kings. Game
Yeah, I
one
mean, you
wasn't
could
great,
argue.
but game two he looked pretty good.
Yeah, you could say that for all of the. Kirmi looked pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just have problems with late game stuff,
Right.
which they'll get figured out. It's just time.
I mean, they almost didn't have problems with late game stuff. The one guy just forgot to place the bomb, and that was it.
Yeah. That's just something that should be like a simple.
I mean, it's a new mechanic, to be fair.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's gonna happen again.
Oh,
To anybody, like not just to him, but like to anybody. I don't think. Once people get more used to the mechanic, they're gonna forget. Because he wasn't the only one to forget to drop a bomb when they should have placed it. He was just the only one who it cost them the game.
Right.
There are other times where it's like if they place this bomb, they get the Phoenix sooner, and then they win a team fight that they lost instead, but it didn't cost them the game. So that's the one we're going to talk about, is the one that lost them the game.
Right. Yeah, that it's sad that was such a big moment. Like if they would have come back and won, it'd been like, aha, you forgot to drop the bomb, whatever. But they lost.
Right.
And so
if I remember correctly from the broadcast, I think them losing that game allowed the Kings to tie the record for longest win streak.
Yep.
And then
no, I think they set it. They set the record with that one.
They set okay. Well, I thought they set the record with game 1 against the Warriors. Because they won game 1 and then lost the next 3. I thought they were talking about how I don't know.
I thought it was set wins.
Was it set wins? Oh, maybe it was set wins. I thought it was games. I don't know. But I mean, they hadn't lost a game in like a long ass fucking time either. Because they went all undefeated all throughout the World Championships last year. Right? And I'm sure they probably had a bit of a winning streak leading into it. I don't remember, but
yeah,
that would make sense. So they probably had a huge win streak going. Imagine if the Gladiators were the ones to end that win streak. They were millimeters away and just couldn't do it and let the Warriors do it instead.
Yep. I just found Inbound tweeted after that game, because they went down and then they got wiped and then they ran it down and lost right after.
Right.
He tweeted, WTF is that yellow thing in my consumable slot.
At least he has a sense of humor about it.
Right. It's just like too bad. I'm glad the tournament really wasn't worth.
Right. They don't get a trophy or anything.
In the play-in tournament.
Oh. Or in like the finals, the World Championships or something.
Yeah. Then it's like, all right.
I would, if that was me, I'd literally cry if it was like an actual important game.
For worth money or something, I would be heartbroken. So someone commented, it's a extra 33 gold.
Why 33?
That's how much you can sell the bomb for in the shop.
I didn't know you could sell it!
Yeah, you can take it back to shop and sell it for 30.
I'm definitely selling it every time I pick it up from now on.
No, yeah, there was a time where I was literally like 50 gold off an item, and so I was like, I'm gonna sell this and then buy it and get a base.
I doubt anybody noticed you did that. Our team like barely even know the bomb exists. Our group.
Right. We barely know about a lot of stuff. But...
Yeah. Like securing fire. Okay, how do you? What's this big giant thing? I guess we'll attack it. Oh, they killed it. Oh well.
I always drop all of mine on fire whenever because I know our problems. I know our problems with that.
Like I don't know if we're bad or unlucky. It's got to be a bit of both. You know what I mean?
There was one the other day. Let me think of who when I was on Circuit last night, and I was what. Someone on their team walked in, and instead of stopping to hit him, we just tried to out DPS the one person, and then got it stolen. It's like, really?
Every time
I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like if I'm the character that's supposed to be damaging it, I damage it, and if I'm supposed to like help zone, I zone. You know, and no matter what I do, it doesn't matter.
My favorite memory is I say, Reed, do you need help securing that? He says, nah, I got it. And then instantly, the enemy team has destroyed the fire giant. It's like, oh. He
Of
said, yeah,
course.
that was bad timing.
Oh, Reed's so funny.
But he's just like naturally goofy. I'm pissed he won't be able to be on for a while, but
Yeah, I forgot about
see.
that. Now I'm sad.
Right.
At least like one of his last games was that 70-minute, 184 combined kill game. That might have literally been his last game.
So I could stat check for you. Oh, okay. Here's what I want to bring up.
Okay.
So, after watching that tournament, what state do you feel like junglers are in? Assassins, like jungler assassin kind of.
I think they're pretty strong overall.
Okay.
Like every set of the first round, a jungle got a quadra kill.
Yeah, which is wild. But so here's what I've some things I've been reading. So a lot of people are saying jungle's weak right now, because in all of those games where they did get quadra kills, they were in the bottom 4 people of damage. You know, they
All right,
were
well
not
that's
competitive
kind of how
in
it
damage.
goes.
And so they're saying like, is jungle just because you're lasting people doesn't mean it's a strong role.
Right.
I guess you're just doing your job, getting in there and being able to get those last hits off. But yeah, I think
I
it's
mean,
a
a
good
jungler isn't like poking somebody in lane the whole game. You know what I mean?
right. So
They should usually be near the bottom in damage, in my opinion. At least of the damage rolls, they should usually be last.
yeah, I think that's pretty normal.
Right.
Obviously, I've seen players. I think Lazaro had really high games, some because he's constantly active doing things.
Right.
I know ever since this new patch came out, I stat checked this earlier before we started. Every time I have played an assassin since the new patch came out, I've gotten in between 20 or 30 plus kills.
Yeah.
Which makes me think like they definitely don't feel as strong as they did before, but they're still very.
I definitely don't think they're weak. Like,
But then hunters.
if they were weak, we wouldn't have seen Pagon playing set mid.
Right. Right. By the way, I want you to know that I called that. I saw them draft Hebo, and I said that's going to Pagon. And I saw them pick up a set, and I said that's going to Pagon. I said this is going to be Hebo solo.
I believe
It
you.
was. And I felt like Mega Mind for a whole 20
Right.
minutes.
When I saw the draft, I was like, I saw Hebo and I was just like, okay, that's definitely going to Pagon. I was like, so I guess it's set solo? And then it wasn't. So.
I don't understand. I played set a couple days ago, and I mean Pagon was jumping on people, and then like they would be gone within half a second. And I was not. I mean, I guess it took me maybe 2 seconds. Still not
Right.
long.
He pushes the buttons good.
He does it better, man.
Yeah.
He's just better.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, John is like a good set player. Like he's been like top 100 in the world at set. Like this isn't some random guy playing set and being like, I don't know how to play set. Like if I was saying that, then like yeah, no shit, you can't hit anything with set. But like John's actually good at set.
I think I dropped 32 kills that game. So
Okay, so you're just complaining about nothing.
not bad. But okay, here this I want to segue this into. Well, imagine if I could blow people up like he could.
Right.
I'd be running every game.
Right.
So I'm going to segue this into the game lengths. Because game lengths have been extremely long ever since they added the comeback mechanic.
Yep.
I think we've been, we used to be able to play like 5-6 games a night. Now we're getting like 2 to 3.
Right.
Um,
To be fair,
because
you've
there's
gotten off a little bit early recently,
yeah.
but still, it'd still be less
Um,
than we normally do even if we got one more game in.
Right. I mean, these games are going 42 minute, 35 minute, 38 minute, 40 minute. Let me go find this one real quick. 65.
Was that the 182 kill game?
Yeah.
That game was ridiculous.
That was so much fun. Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
remember anything I did. I just remember I got 20 kill, 20 death, 20 assist. And that's all I remember about it. And Reed having an awesome snipe. Like, I don't remember any of the shit I did.
that whole game was just a mess.
Yeah.
But, they have the comeback mechanic. You get less XP for killing lower health targets, more for shutdowns. It gives the whole team, you have the back chests. And, the towers are doing more damage, and so you're able to sit under them.
Right.
In these later game team fights, it's easier to farm up. You catch up, and I've noticed it gives me more opportunity. I'm not sure if I like it or not because, I go in, I can't do everything. We lose a team fight, but then that gives me an opportunity. The next team fight, I can come in and potentially, all these games that I'm winning on Assassin, I'm getting like quadras in the last team fight, and then we can just run it down.
Right.
It's giving me opportunity to make that hard carry, which is nice because it feels like every game is winnable.
Right.
But man, it's just long
They're
games are
so
fun. You get your
long.
build online.
They're
But
more
yeah,
fun in moderation, though.
yes,
Like,
yeah,
in
like
the reason that basketball is the most boring sport to watch for me is that scoring isn't rare. You know what I mean? They score
yeah,
50
yes,
times a game per team.
yeah. That's why back in high school, like football was what we were about over
Right.
basketball. And I was like, when they score,
Health of the football team was really
it's
good.
it's hype. Everyone's excited. But like in basketball, it's like I'm more disappointed that you didn't score right
Right.
then, And yeah, that's the same thing
That's how
here.
it is with long length games.
Yeah, it's. Oh. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe something's gonna change up.
It makes it feel like the first 25 minutes don't matter as well. Like you get one kill and like your whole team is back in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
yeah,
It's too overtuned. It was
which
like they wanted to try to get rid of snowballing, but like, what's wrong with snowballing? If you do better, you should get rewarded for doing better.
yeah, I I agree. I mean, that's where I went. Yeah, we have the tendency to get pretty far behind
Right?
early.
This is a change that helps us as well. We're
Yeah,
complaining about something
and
that
so
helps us. Our team's always behind every game.
and so I mean, it doesn't feel like it's like okay, this is as long like it's so hard to get to a point where you're like we can't come back from this.
Right.
If you play it right. Yeah, I'm looking through.
Right. Especially now. Like we had a game where we were like 2-14, and I was like, we should just surrender. And we were like, nah. And I was like, hey, Sean, I'm just gonna give you all the farm so you can get like a kill, and we get back in the game. And then we got like 3 kills in mid and 1. You know what I mean? Like,
we got you got us 3 kills in mid, and then we were back in the game, and then we just won off of that.
Yeah, I've got that. I started off 0-5 and I ended 18-8.
Right. I was just like, I'm just gonna let John feast. If John gets all the farm and feasts, then we have a chance to win. And then we won.
Oh, that was the game with the afro. We had an afro solo, went full tank. I mean,
they went support starter and
support starter, Gauntlet of Thieves. What's that? Why can I never ever remember the cloak's name?
I don't know. Prophetic cloak?
What's it? Prophetic. I cannot remember that for the life of me. I ask it every single time.
Yeah. It's kind of a dumb name, in my opinion. Because it's a it's a cloak that belongs to a prophet. But like, what does that have to do with anything the cloak does? You know what I mean?
I mean, you can, if you know
I
what's
can
coming in the
foresee myself
future.
being tanky. Like,
Yeah, if you know what's coming in the future, you can mitigate some of the damage that's gonna happen.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. But we don't make the names.
Should.
We should. We should start making items. I would give everything.
I'm gonna rename prophetic cloak to poopy butthole cloak.
Exactly. Penis cloak. That's it.
For the
That would
blood
be
forge,
good.
it's penis forge.
Penis. It's
It's just penis.
deep cock.
That's
Yeah,
that's what
everything.
we
That's like,
rename Titan's Bane because it has good pin. Deep cock.
we can just rename a Smite to penis. And then
Yeah.
you said the whole game. This is going nowhere.
Nope.
This is devolving fast. Yeah, I mean, personally, I can understand people are wanting to come in. I've been seeing a lot of complaints. You know, you want to come in, you want to be able to play a game or two of Smite. You know, you had a long day of work, get a game or two in before bed, but then it's like I'm only able to get one game in, and it's 50 minutes long, and I'm getting shit on the whole game. It's like that's just not fun, and I get that. Because the games where you do get shit on and you're trying to come back but you never do,
Right.
they end up lasting 40 minutes. It's like, ugh. Whenever you lose, it doesn't feel good.
Right.
But if you win, on the other hand, it's, not
Also,
as
like,
bad.
as a jungler, right? Let's say you get 4 levels up on their whole team. You just don't play the game anymore until they catch up. Like, you just run around the jungle farming. Because, like, there's no point in you going and get a kill. You know? There's no point. You don't get anything.
Well,
The only thing is you risk dying, which would get them back in the game.
yeah, that's what, there was a point when Panatom had that pop-off game against the Ravens on,
Yeah, game 2
Bakasura.
against the Ravens.
There was one point where he was getting 0 XP from killing anyone on their entire team.
Right.
It was
And then
4
he
levels
died
up.
once, and it almost let the Ravens back in. Well, like, if the Warriors had gotten that far ahead, and then the Ravens got that one kill on him that got them back in the game, if the Ravens were the team that were better at pushing buttons, I think they would have won that game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But the Warriors were
Yeah,
better at
and
pushing buttons, so
that's
they
the
still
thing.
won. But that was off
They
of
were
literally one kill.
so far ahead. I mean, that game should not have ever been close based on how far he was ahead. He died one time, and it was like anyone's game at that point. Which, I mean, they still had their advantages, and I mean, it wasn't super close, but they had a shot to win it. And
Right.
I don't know. I think that might be a little extreme.
Yep. Everything's just a little too much.
But
Just like the amount of items with pin in it.
yeah, it's significantly more than the ones that don't.
Yep.
It's crazy.
And Ethereal Staff was on the side that wasn't anti-tank. Some
I
of
can
those
see. I
items are
mean,
like Jones, which definitely isn't an anti-tank item, but it was on the pin side. You know what I mean? Like, the flat pin was also on the anti-tank side, but
all right.
it's definitely not a perfect list, but
It gives you the idea.
yeah. It's like you can get shit to shred a tank for free. I mean, flat pin still helps against tanks. It's just not as much as percent pin, but
Mhm. Get it both, and you're really shredding them.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. If you get 40% pin, you can't get any more, so you go flat pin and shred them even more.
Yeah. It's. I mean, we could talk about that every single week, but I'm sure. I think it's something that's being brought up and something we could see change with the next season, maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I know we've had this patch for barely over a week now, but maybe. I mean, I'm ready to see what they do with the next one. I'm also ready to see this new God release. When is this coming?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I know there's supposed to be a teaser or like a lore trailer coming out to okay, for some reason I thought I had work today. I definitely don't.
I hope you don't have
Let me
work today. It's 10 p.m.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I freaked out for a second because I was like, yeah, missed that. No. Let me look up if there's any sort of no, nothing yet. So I would assume it'd be next Tuesday. We're getting kind of a God reveal. But yeah, ready for that one. Probably be the next big thing. When does SPL start back for regular? Do you know?
I do not. Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't say on the website because that'd be convenient and useful.
Right, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm gonna check it just in case, but yeah,
My computer
not
wants to
there.
wake up. I could look.
Um,
I have it. I had the SPL website open on my other computer, but it fell asleep so hard I had to push the button to turn it back on.
April 21st is when it starts.
Okay, so a couple weeks
Hey,
out.
hold up. It's
Hold
only a
up.
month long. Phase 1 is only a month long.
Yeah, I mean it's only 10 games.
Right. I just feel like, okay, so if they go a month, take a month off, I guess that would land right at the end of the year for Worlds.
Right.
I didn't realize it just feels like they last longer.
Right.
Yeah, then playoffs and then the Smite Masters tournament is on June 15th.
And what
June
is that for those that don't know, which definitely isn't me?
20th. So, yeah, basically they take the top 2 teams in each division automatically qualify in this phase, qualify for Masters. And then there's a Masters playoffs. They'll bring like the top, all the bottom SPL teams.
Is it kind of like the
It's like
Worlds, but like
yeah,
mid-season,
it's
basically?
like a
Okay.
mid-season Worlds. It's at the end of every phase. There's
Oh,
a
there's one
mini
every
tournament.
phase. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a tournament that takes place, and it's just like extra cash for the team that wins.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure SCC teams have a chance to compete. I could be lying. That could just be.
Right. Well, only the
I
top
don't
two
know.
teams qualify automatically. Then it's either the tournament part is only 4 teams, or SCC teams can qualify.
Yeah, which I would assume
So
would be it. And
I
then
would assume that it is an 8-person tournament, and SCC teams can qualify.
yeah, and they play that, and then your top 4 teams there go on a Masters, and then the 2 teams that won get a bye first round that are automatically in the semifinals. Could also be totally wrong. We'll see. I'm sure they won't put it on their website anytime soon.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
really
I
need to
mean,
work on that.
we do have 2 months, so
All right. Honestly, this might pay me. I'll do the website for you.
that's what I'm saying. I'll do it, but I think a lot of the stuff is on here because they don't know either. Um, I
You know
saw
what? Fair.
Hazer tweeted, and there were for that finals game, the Dragons Warriors. They had across their all their social medias, they had like 4 different times posted for when the game started.
Jesus.
Like four entirely different times.
They need to get their shit together.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? Like they just need to hire somebody who like just talks to everybody in the company, so like everybody knows what's going on. You know what I mean? Like it's like their job is like they talk to the boss who decides
You
shit, and then they
communicate.
go and just talk to everybody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like they need that.
That in hindsight that would be nice, but I'm sure it's not as easy as that.
Yeah.
Like, but, well, what are we at here?
Hour 30,
Hour 30?
pretty much exactly.
Yeah. I think I would say it's about time to gank right lane,
Yeah. Is that the ending?
Is it?
I don't know. I didn't push stop recording, so
Okay, well,
is that
do
a
you
new
have
god you were talking about like 15 minutes ago? Do you think they're gonna gank right lane?